My boyfriend, Ryan, and I had been together for almost a year when all of this happened. Honestly, our relationship was good. We got along really well, laughed all the time, and we didn't fight over petty things. The only real issue in our relationship was one of his female friends, Chloe. To this day, I still don't fully know what her problem was. My guess is that she didn't like seeing Ryan serious about someone else. She was also still friends with his ex, which made me suspect she was trying to sabotage us on purpose. Ryan, Chloe, and his ex had all lived together before. His ex had cheated on him, then moved out, and eventually moved to another province. It was obvious she wanted another chance, but Ryan wasn't interested. They had been broken up for around 6 to 8 months before he and I started seeing each other. The strange part is that Chloe and I actually became close. I liked her, and that's probably why I ignored my gut for way too long. Whenever we were alone, she would casually tell me things Ryan had supposedly said. Stuff like, "I don't think he's over his ex. He told me that." Just little comments that planted doubt in my head. Around the same time, Ryan started acting differently toward me, and suddenly our relationship had trust issues. There was even one time Chloe got annoyed because he didn't want to stay out drinking with her and instead wanted to come home and spend time with me. I thought that was weird, but I brushed it off. Over time, things got tense between my friend group and theirs. My friends told me they didn't like Chloe and that I should talk to Ryan about the things she had been saying, but I didn't want to be that controlling girlfriend who tells her boyfriend he can't be friends with women. I was also genuinely trying to fit into his group, so I kept quiet. Then everything blew up. One night, I went out drinking with Chloe. At some point, I blacked out completely. And to be clear, I had only had 1 or 2 drinks. I barely remember anything from that night. I remember Chloe driving, and I remember some guy she said she knew being around. The next thing I remember is waking up in my own apartment, in my own bed, next to that guy, with Chloe standing in the room looking angry. Before anyone assumes the worst, we were both fully clothed and on top of the blankets. The guy, I'll call him Daniel, told me I had been really sick and throwing up, and that Chloe had basically left him there with me. He said he was too drunk to drive, and that Chloe was also drunk and absolutely should not have been driving either. He told me he didn't want to leave me alone because I was in bad shape. I'm also a type 1 diabetic, and he knew that, so he said he stayed because he was genuinely worried about me. I told him he honestly should have called an ambulance, but I was still thankful I hadn't been left alone. At the same time, I was furious that my so-called friend had put me in such a dangerous situation where so many things could have gone wrong. After Daniel left, I was still so sick that I ended up going to the hospital. I tried calling Ryan multiple times, but he didn't answer. When I checked my call logs, I saw that I had also tried calling him several times the night before, but he was probably asleep. It also took me forever to find my phone, and when I finally did, it was hidden in a really strange place inside a drawer. After thinking about it for days, I became convinced Chloe had hidden it on purpose. When I got home, all of my stuff was outside my door, and Ryan had blocked me on everything. Eventually, I managed to get in contact with him and told him I genuinely felt like I had been drugged and had no idea what happened that night. But by then, Chloe had already told him that I had been all over Daniel and that I slept with him. Neither of those things happened. I was furious. At that point, I knew she had set me up. I even suspected she may have put something in my drink, but I couldn't prove it. So I started piecing the night together. I went back to the bar and spoke to the bartender, someone I knew, and asked her what she had seen, who I had talked to, everything. Then I talked to Daniel, who confirmed that nothing had happened between us. He told me Chloe had been acting weird all night, and when I started throwing up, she basically left me there with him, a man I didn't even know. He stayed because he didn't know whether he should call an ambulance and didn't want to leave me alone. Apparently, Chloe later came back to check on me, which meant she drove home drunk and then drove back drunk. So she left me there, then returned later pretending to be concerned. I also got other perspectives from that night. The more people I talked to, the less Chloe's version of the story made sense. Meanwhile, she was telling me something different and insisting that all she had told Ryan was that she saw Daniel and me in bed together and that she wasn't going to lie to him. Ryan broke up with me anyway, and honestly, I understood why the situation looked terrible. Of course he was going to believe his best friend of several years over me. But at that point, I decided that even if Ryan and I never got back together, I was not going to let Chloe destroy my reputation and walk away clean. So I pretended everything was fine. I stayed friendly with her and acted normal because I wanted her to get comfortable and keep talking. Eventually, I convinced Ryan to give us another shot. We started talking and hanging out again, and the second that happened, Chloe started acting weird. The very first day I went over there, she saw me on the doorbell camera and immediately texted him asking why I was there. I saw the text myself. That led to Ryan and me arguing, and then a bunch of inconsistencies started coming out. Things she had told him about me, things she had told me about him. He started realizing she may have been playing both sides, but he still wasn't fully convinced she would have gone as far as putting something in my drink. He thought maybe I had just drunk too much. So I decided I needed proof. When Chloe got home one day, I asked Ryan to give us some privacy and leave. I put my phone on record and calmly confronted her. No yelling, no drama. I just asked her to tell me what happened that night and explain her version of everything. She started with the same story she'd always told, but then she started backtracking. Details changed. Her version shifted. She contradicted herself more than once. I told her I knew she had been lying to people. I knew who had told me certain details, and I didn't want to be friends with her anymore. Here's the part that still makes me laugh now. I didn't tell Ryan I recorded her. I wanted to see what she would tell him about our conversation first. My thinking was simple. If she lied about a conversation I literally had proof of, then I could prove she had lied about everything else too. And that is exactly what happened. Chloe told Ryan that I had threatened her. She claimed I said I would punch her if she didn't change her story to match my version, and that she was scared for her safety. None of that was true. I told Ryan she was lying, but he didn't believe me. Instead, he told me Chloe no longer felt safe with me being at the house, so if he and I were going to keep spending time together, it had to be at my place. He also said he was planning to move out as soon as he found another rental, because things had gotten too dramatic and he wanted distance from her anyway. That still wasn't enough for me. I was honestly offended, but I also understood why he was torn. He had been friends with her for over 7 years, and one of the reasons I loved him was because he was fiercely loyal to the people he cared about. We had also been friends before we started dating, so I knew exactly what kind of person he was. I wasn't going to let her win. So I let Chloe keep talking. I let her spread her version of events around the friend group for about 2 weeks. Then, once I heard her latest lie through someone else, I knew it was time. I sat Ryan down and played the recording. He was completely shocked. He had already started losing trust in her, but hearing that recording took it to another level. He was sick over the fact that she had lied so much, manipulated both of us, and nearly ruined the best relationship he had ever had. He moved out immediately and stayed at my place until he found another rental. We told the friend group that I had recorded Chloe and that she had lied about basically everything. And the funniest part? After all of that, Chloe did absolutely nothing. She didn't defend herself, she didn't respond to messages, she didn't even try to fight it. She moved away to, stopped talking to everyone in that group, and basically disappeared. She embarrassed herself so badly that she removed herself from the entire situation. And the best ending of all? Ryan and I just celebrated 4 years together, and we genuinely have a happy life now. One more thing that still sticks with me is how sick I really was that night. When I first got home, I wasn't even capable of making decisions for myself. I didn't become fully coherent until about 4 or 5 p.m. the next day. According to Daniel, I had been throwing up from around 2:30 in the morning until about 7 or 8 a.m. Chloe apparently left around 4 a.m. and then came back around 1 p.m. while I was still unwell. I remember waking up and seeing Chloe standing in the doorway. I was confused and panicked the second I saw Daniel there. I screamed because I thought someone had assaulted me. I remember Chloe saying, "What the hell?" and then leaving.